Hi, I'm Vince Quinn, and I'm here to tell you how to use pilots to build a better show. And when you think about the landscape today, when it comes to any type of media production that you might do, one of the biggest problems today is output. Output is a massive problem. And Vince, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm talking about a couple of things. One, the push to be instant, right? You see so many things on social media, and it's always reacting in the moment, being present, being constant in the feed. You're putting up stories and tweets and everything else. You want to be constantly in people's faces. There's a real pressure that comes with that. And as a result, you feel that need to be constant yourself with your content, right? You constantly are putting up new episodes. If something major happens and you're in a certain kind of category where there is news to react to, that more instant news, what happens? Emergency pods, right? We're stopping whatever we're doing to record an episode and get it out. It's that same feeling of having to be constant. And another problem here is you do that because why? Well, you're competing against everyone. You're competing against not just different brands and businesses and fellow influencers. You're talking about, I don't know, dogs that have their own accounts and like anything else, right? It's just, how do you get out there all the time and grab attention when literally almost anything that exists has an account that you're also competing against? So you want to get the output. And because of all of that, as a podcaster, I think one of the biggest problems is that a podcast feels disposable at times, right? A certain episode, you might just be, oh, I'm tired, oh, we're behind, we just need to get this out, and so it's not a big deal, let's just go for it, let's just do it. And you might not do the typical kind of preparation or give an episode in general just the right kind of care that you want or that you typically do, because again, it just feels disposable and you're trying to keep up with output. And because of that, people tend to do things for the first time ever, like a new bit, any sort of new sound effect, any sort of exchange. Let's say you're adding somebody from your team, you have a producer, and you're going to give them a chance to be on the microphone. Like, there's so many different things that go into a show, and a lot of times people will say, all right, well, let's just do it in the next episode. That's a massive mistake. You should not do that. I don't believe in that in any way, shape, or form. You're not a time filler as a podcaster, and if you're looking at it that way, I think you have the wrong mentality. Streamers are killing time, right? They have 4 hours, 3 hours. They're live every second of the entire time. They might take shots. They might refine in real time based on the medium. That's way more understandable. That's more of that space. Radio, which I think streamers and radio are very much the same thing. They come from that space. They're refining. They're filling time because it's a lot of time to kill. As a podcaster, that feeling that you have of, oh, there's kind of this disposability to it, it's really an opportunity, and it's all the more reason to focus your energy and be particular and very passionate and caring in what you're putting out. I mean, imagine if there was a band, for example, that played a song together for the first time ever, and they did it live on stage. What would that be like? It's a disaster, right? It's a bad show. It's going to hurt that band's relationship with the audience. What the heck is this? What do they do? They sound terrible. They don't have any rhythm. They're not in the same key. It's all over the place, right? It's going to hurt their brand. And on some level, it could very much ruin what is a good idea for a song because they just haven't presented it the right way that first time. It's hard to get things right the first time. How many times do you do something over and over? Just something as routine as a text or an email. You might draft that thing a couple of times, right? Because you want to make sure that it looks good and it sounds good. If you're sending something out to an advertiser, for example, a big guest that you want to get on the show, you're going to rewrite that. You might ask your co-host or a producer or a friend to be like, hey, can you give this a look real quick? I'm going to send this out. I think it's a pretty big deal. That's a pilot. That's a pilot. Right? You're doing things and refining it and looking at it and making sure that it is up to your standards and that it is good and is worthy of sending to a single person, a business, your public. You're refining it as a pilot. And you should embrace pilots everywhere when it comes to building a show. And let me talk you through what this process is, right? There's really 4 incredibly simple steps on how to execute a pilot for your podcast. Number 1, you have the idea, test it. just record it on your own, right? Do it on your own time. Don't make it a part of the show. Take 20 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever that idea might be, right? If it's bonus content for your show. So, okay, you've got this audience and you have this energy and you want to naturally extend into something else. You want to give that to your premium subscribers. Just test the idea on your own. Listen back to it. That's step 2. Review it honestly. So after you've tested it, now you're reviewing it and you're giving yourself real critical feedback about what this thing needs to truly be good, to truly be up to standard, to truly capture attention. And once you do that, tighten it up, right? That's it. You know what it is. You've given it a review. You see what's wrong with it. Okay, how can you improve this? And if it turns out that after that first try, it looks pretty good, it sounds really good, you're comfortable with it, you think it fits your audience and your energy and your brand, great, go for it. Next time, now you can do it live on the show, but at least you've been through it before. You've seen it, you've felt it, you've heard it, you know what it actually looks like and feels like, and it's worthy of presenting to your audience. And if it turns out that after you do it, that in that 4th step that it's not ready to go and be public, the 4th step in that case is do it again. Do those first 3 steps again. Test it, review it, make the tweaks as necessary, and then go put it live. And that's what it is all about for a pilot. That is the value of iteration. And again, this happens on virtually anything that touches the show, right? This can be segments. This can be sound effects. This can be bits. This can be changes in approach. Maybe when it comes to interviewing, you have people on the show, and a lot of times when people, especially when they get started, they ask a question, they sit, they wait, they let that person speak for as long as they do. It could be a minute, it could be 8 minutes, but you sit there, you patiently wait, and then you speak again when you feel like they're done. Maybe you want to change that style up, and you're going to be a little more aggressive with people in the way of, as they're talking, you want it to feel a little bit more like a conversation. You interject more. It's a different change in approach. Maybe you should run that as a pilot and do that with somebody and be comfortable and analyze yourself before you change that format of the show, right? So do that as a pilot, adding in a new voice. Like I said before, if you have a producer that's on the show, you want to bring them in. You have a friend, you want to test them out, whoever it might be. But if you have somebody you think could be a regular, do a pilot first. Don't just give them the show. Don't give them a seat. Don't give them a voice on your program, on your brand, on the thing that you've built without doing pilots with them and seeing if it works. How is the chemistry in real time with the lights on, cameras rolling, mics live, whatever it might be? You got to know, and you should test that. It should be a pilot. Experimenting with subject matter. If you're going to different genres, let's say you're in a certain kind of finance show, but now you want to venture a little bit, and for certain kinds of laws, maybe you want to get into politics a little bit. Is that the right fit? It could be. But you might want to listen back and know some certain guardrails that you don't want to touch before you make that something that is a part of what you do, before you present that to the audience, and then it goes away, right? Maybe it doesn't work. So save yourself the trouble of confusing your audience, diluting your brand a little bit, and instead do this as a pilot, make sure this is right for you, and then go and give it to the public. Again, we have such a sense of this needs to get out, I need to compete, people need to see it, I need to do more, and because of that, we rush things out rather than thinking things through, and that is where the value is. If I come into a show and they're doing things that aren't thought out, I'm going to change it. There's 500 shows in your genre. You're competing against everybody. So why am I, as a listener, and you may feel this way as well as a podcaster, of you know what a good host is, you know what a good energy is, you know what a good show is, and to have this idea of you listen to somebody else and you don't think they're any good because they're throwing something together that is rushed or that hasn't been practiced, then the odds that you come back are small. The odds that your audience might come back to you, somebody who's trying you for the first time, it takes a significant hit. So do this everywhere with the show. Run pilots all the time. Be thoughtful in it. And it's not just with the content itself, but it can be other areas too, right? Your social media accounts, the different things you might want to do with how you engage with people, and up your content production to promote the show. Run those things as pilots. Give them a look. Be critical. Advertisers, if you have somebody that maybe, let's say you're more of an edgy show, or you are a political show, or things like that. Like there's a sponsor that you're not 100% that relationship is going to be a good one for you and what you are building. Then don't commit for a year. Why do that? Say, you know what, let's do this as a pilot for 3 months. There's going to be more intensity and more pressure. Like, it's a different relationship once the contract is signed and we're exchanging money. So let's do this for a couple of months. Keep listening to the show. Make sure this is a full connection to your brand. If it turns out after 3 months you don't feel really good about this, then we should probably split. And that's okay. So pilot that. And then here is the one thing that, you know, as you're doing all of these different kinds of pilots around the show, all of this iterating around the show to refine it and sharpen it and add pieces to it to improve it, you will see those results, right? Like, you're going to see the impact. You're going to see how the reception is, and it will be better. But one of the things that people do regularly, constantly, that I think is one of the best parts of the industry and one of the most easily adaptable things, it's guest screenings. Guest screenings for podcasts are a pilot. They're a pilot, right? Think about this. You talk to somebody, you get a message, you look at their profile, you think they're interesting, you say, you know what, I think they're worthy of coming on the show. But then once you get them and they're behind a microphone and, you know, maybe their camera's terrible, their mic stinks, they're not really that engaging. They wrote a great note, but they're not a great speaker. They've just been on your show for the last 35 minutes, right? Do you even want to air it? Maybe you've had that situation before, and that is natural, and it happens to a lot of people, and a lot of times because of terrible experiences like that, that's why the guest screening process happens. That is a pilot. So think about that and appreciate that, because it doesn't happen just in podcasting. I'm not talking about it that way. Like I said before, it happens in music. It happens in movies. It happens in TV. It happens with paintings. It happens with building houses, software, books, medicine, video games, advertising, clothing, cars, cooking, like everything. Everything. So it can be everywhere. Pilots are everywhere. For me, the title of this very speech that I'm giving to you, How to Use Pilots to Build a Better Show, I iterated that 3 times because each time I looked at it, I said, you know what? It could be a little sharper. It could be a little cleaner. There's too many words. The outline that I did to make this very presentation to you, I did it 4 different times, because I wanted to make sure that the message was right. Pilots are okay. Pilots are, in fact, they're great, because think about this, right? I'm talking about, in a lot of ways, building something and refining it to the point where you like it, and then now, okay, it's part of the show and you're using it all the time with your audience. But an outcome that is just as good is you do something as a pilot and you hate it. That's okay. And that's the point. Because once you see it, once you take a look at it, you might go, oh, maybe we're not ready for this. Maybe this isn't a good time for it. Or maybe the way that we execute this, like, it's okay, but it can be better. How do we rearrange this in a different way, look at it from a different angle to make this truly great? That is what you can do, and that is what the value. It's okay to walk away. And in this overproduced culture that we have, the drive is to just get it out there. And I think that that's really a mistake. So with that, when it comes to pilots, right, because on some degree this sounds strict, there are fun ways to go about it. It doesn't always have to be just private. If you want to take it another layer, let's say you have a premium audience. There you have a high-level subscriber base. You've got 3 different tiers. You've got a certain pilot you do offline to yourselves, behind the scenes. That works. That's good. Great. Next step is let your highest-paying people see the pilot and see what they think. They're your biggest committed customer. What do they think? They'll appreciate the insight. I've done this before on shows, and it's been very helpful, good or bad. But all the same, the result is a positive one because we're not forcing anything out. So again, pilots are very helpful for you in every aspect of the show. It gives you a chance to breathe and analyze everything that you're doing. So test this thing, review it, make tweaks as you need to, and then do it again or get it out to the public, whatever it needs to be. But I hope you learned from this. I hope it's helpful for you. I'm sure it will be. I'm Vince Quinn. Take care.